Hello and welcome back to another video on the rest of the debate and to another edition of NXT 2.0, NXT Out of 10, let's say. And yeah, it's a big show today because of course we're just a few weeks away now from deadline and we've got like a bunch of Hall of Famers on this show. Deciding who's going to be taking part in the Iron Survivor match. But yeah, we didn't kick off with that. We kicked off with Roxanne Perez versus Indy Hartwell, so let's get straight into that. Hartwell was in control early on and got a series of submission moves before Perez took her down and locked in the sleeper hold. Indy sent Perez outside before the latter came back with an uppercut. Indy then sent Perez into the corner with a whip before getting a drop kick. Perez went up to the top and hit a dive but got caught in a deadlift. Roxanne managed to reverse the slam and rolled her up before getting a kick in the pin. And yeah, this gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Yeah, good win for Roxanne. Indy Hartwell, shouldn't see her losing. Doesn't seem like her character has much direction at the moment, but Roxanne really getting built up at the moment. And yeah, another good win from her, so no complaints from me. Duke Hudson was then backstage and told Andre Chase that he deserved to be in the Iron Survivor match, and even had a petition from Chase U students to bring to Shawn Michaels. Grayson Waller then came to mock them and said that Hudson would eventually betray them. And yeah, I think we all know the way it's heading, just kind of a matter of when, but it's an interesting storyline when it goes on. Thea Hale then tried to attack him, and he had to be held back as NXT continued before he got Dijak versus Dante Chen. Dijak ended things quickly by unloading on Chen with strikes and tossing him around the ring. Chen then tried to fight back, but Dijak got a big boot and knocked in a painful choke. Dijak then transitioned into the Feast Your Eyes before picking up the win. And yeah, gets a 6 out of 10 from me. You know, hopefully this is the start of them building Dominic up because, yeah, obviously he had a tough time with the T-Bar, but, you know, hopefully this is him starting to rebuild, and yeah, good first times I would say, so 6 out of 10. JD McDonough was then backstage at the Diamond Gym and said that he had his doubts about the Creed beating in this year. The Creed said that they had been ready since day one and ignored the warning. Before the Hall of Famers were backstage to discuss the men's Iron Survivor entrances, they brought out the Knights of Hayes, Gacy, Waller and from Wagner and Axiom. Before deciding, each panel member should write their names as they chose down in secret and moved on. Good democratic system that. Before it was time for Grayson Waller versus Duke Hudson, Waller tried to get Duke to cheat early on, but Jason Hale told him not to take the bait. Grayson then got some big moves before Hudson came back with a sidewalk slam. Waller then mocked Chase while wearing Duke's headband before going for the elbow drop, but Hudson got out of the way. Duke then got some strikes and body slam before going belly suplex. He then sent Grayson out of the ring with an elbow before Waller tried to get Duke to kick Thea Hale. Back in the ring, Waller hit the rolling cutter for the W. And Jelly's getting a 6 out of 10 from me. Pretty decent match, only going to increase tensions between Hudson and Chase, you'd think. And yeah, also good time later on with the competitors announced. Big go on the whole, this was a solid match, 6 out of 10, kind of tied into the whole show nicely, really. Javier Bernal was then in the backstage interview before Axiom walked in and said that he was clear to compete and that he wanted Bernal to have a match for him, so they set it up for later in the night. It's time for Fallon Henry versus Kiana James. Wwenxt was working on Fallon's arm early and held her down the right before kicking her. Henry then broke a hold and hit a fake pass before getting some strikes and a clothesline for a near fall. Henry tried to lift James but buckled under the weight before rolling out. James let Fallon chase her at ringside before grabbing her back from the corner and tossing it at the ref. James then fake kicked Fallon in the leg before hitting the 401k facebuster for the W. And yeah, it gets a 5 out of 10 from me. It wasn't a bad match or anything like that. I just felt like it didn't really fit in the show. It doesn't have a match storyline around it. So yeah, just for me, kind of felt bit pointless to be honest. So yeah, 5 out of 10. Nafi and James were then giving Malik Blade a prep talk on NXT, and they said that he was going to take his anger out on Von Wagner. Before the Hall of Famers were deciding on the women's match, and they came up with Roxanne Perez, Zoe Stark, Indy Hartwell, Corey J, as well as Fallon Henry and Kiana. They again decided to write down the names before Carter and Chance were out on NXT next, followed by Lyons, but Zoe Stark attacked the latter on the route, hitting her with a chop block and kicking her in the knees. The match had to be called off, and Toxic Attraction showed up to mock Lyons as NXT moved on, and that kind of turned into our main event. But yeah, she's still being healed, Zoe Stark, and yeah, it's still an interesting character brand, and I think it's got a bit of work to do, but you know, for what it is at the moment, it's been alright. So yeah, it was then time for Javier Bernal versus Axiom. Axiom had control of the match early and sent Javier outside before Bernal went after his injured leg and smashed it into the ring post. Axiom then tried for a triangle hold, but took a big powerbomb, but now locked in the figure 4 leg rock before Axiom managed to turn it around and break the hold. Axiom got a flying clothesline before taking DDT. Javier then went out top, but Axiom kicked him down before getting a suplex and a golden ratio kick for the W. Yeah, another good win for Axiom. Solid match as well between two decent wrestlers. So yeah, goes 6 out of 10 from me. Good stuff. In the locker room, Nikita told Chance and Carter that she was fine and could stand on her own with the attack from the start. Braun Breaker and Apollo Crews then had a chat at dinner and discussed their title match set for Deadline before it was time for JD versus Julius Creed. Julius had control early and tossed JD out of the ring before sending him way outside with a clothesline. JD dragged Julius outside and dropped him on the apron. Indus Sher showed up at ringside and had a stare down with the Crews as the match continued. JD then went out of the ring once more, but he grabbed a steel chair, but Sanger pushed Julius out of harm's way and took the chair shot himself, leading to a DQ. Indus Sher then said that they had won the Creeds at 100% before having another stare down. And yeah, gets 6 out of 10 from me. Decent match. I would have preferred it not to win in the DQ, but of course with Julius Creed really getting a big push at the moment, and JD McDonough, you don't want him losing as well. It's kind of understandable, but yeah, in a way I feel like even though it's a decent match, they kind of put themselves into a corner here. Next up on NXT was Malik Blade v Von Wagner, but before that Tony D was backstage and talked about returning to action next week and told Jack he was grateful for him taking down Wesley and that Dom was going to take Lee down for soon. Yeah, so it seems like that's the North American title feud, which is definitely going to be interesting and of course a great match. Before it's time for Malik versus Von Wagner, Malik took control early and sent Wagner outside before smacking his head on the announcer. Blade reversed powerbomb before lifting Von Wagner up for a power slam. Wagner countered the splash and took Blade down with a quick win off an Olympic slam. After the match, he was beating down Blade and Laffy before Odyssey Jones came out and took out Von Wagner. So yeah, to be honest, I kind of like this. Von Wagner versus Jones is going to be a beastly match. But yeah, Von Wagner kind of still building him up after that loss. I appreciate that. So 7 out of 10. HBK then revealed the participants of the matches. On the men's side, it was Hayes, McDonald, Waller and Gacy, and the final superstar would be a wild card. The women was Zoe Stark, Roxanne Perez, Corey J, she's going to be in there, and Kiana James, and a wild card as well. So it's going to be interesting to see who they are for sure. But for then it was time for our main event. Toxic Attraction versus Katana Chance versus Kaden Carter and Nikita Lyons. Chance and Jane kicked off the match, and it soon developed into an all-out brawl before Toxic Attraction was sent outside, and Chance and Carter hit dice to take them out. Back in the ring, Mandy tagged in and hit a big spine buster on Carter before getting near fall. Chance and Dolan were then in the ring, and the latter got a near fall with Lyons breaking up. Lyons was in and was having trouble staying on her feet before taking down Arrays with a kick. Jane and Dolan then hit her with a high-low and picked up the W. And Jack gets 6 out of 10 from me. Decent enough match. Toxic Attraction and standing still looking dominant. But yeah, I mean, like, these challenges do feel interesting. At the moment, so yeah, I mean, kind of common Toxic Attraction stuff, but yeah, I had no issues with this at all really. It was a really decent match to end off the show, so 6 out of 10. Overall, NXT this week gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Yeah, no issues with NXT this week at all. I thought it was a decent enough show. Lots of issues, lots of stuff going on. Deadline's building up nicely. I'm liking the look of the Iron Survivor matches. They're filled with talent as well. So yeah, on the whole, I thought it was a decent episode of NXT this week. 6 out of 10. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, those sorts of comments down below. Further this show for daily wrestling news and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.